Alrighty. I'm gonna just do the local artist after this and probably go home and get me a little rest for my next job. What's going on, baby? Let me tag you real quick. Alright. What's going on? It's your boy Jerk Jerkins right here on WMBT 90.1 up in the beat, man. We are hanging out like we always do on Saturdays, man. Hip Hop Saturdays right here on the Jerk Jerkins Show. And y'all know what time it is, 2 o'clock hour, man. I got the homie in the building, man, Mr. Rashad Ray. What's going on, big dog?
And not much.
So on this week's edition of Dad Can We Talk, man, we got kind of put more of a local spin on it. More than we used to, because we usually keep it all local, but we go even more local this week. And I just kind of want to start with one of the major headlines from recent news. In this story, I was talking a little bit about this early on the new show we started this morning for the fellas with Jared Servants and Melvin Brown at the 11 o'clock hour. And what I was saying was that usually when things occur, since I've been doing this, I've had, because Danville is such a small, intimate city, I've had things happen where a lot of the victims and people involved I know personally when I'm reporting these stories. So out of respect, a lot of times for the families, and just to keep things peaceful. Period. A lot of times I never really offer my personal opinions on things. You know what I mean? Just because I just report the story and leave it as it is.
Straight up.
And that, like I said, that's just usually out of respect. But this story in particular has gained national headlines. Yeah. So it's like something that we can't ignore. You know what I'm saying? We can't act like it's something that just happened. You know what I mean? And it goes. I do feel like it's worthy of us really going into and unpacking and breaking down. So I'm gonna start with just some basis, and you can take it from there if that's okay. Now, last Sunday I was actually coming back from Birmingham, Alabama, and I actually saw things develop on Facebook where, first it was, somebody's been shot and I don't know who that is, to the point where by the morning the news had got out who it was and that sort of thing, and just to kind of add context to the conversation, that Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, I'm not sure, there was an altercation at the Waffle House on Newberry Road in which a young man by the name of Craig Brewer lost his life due to gun violence, avoidable senseless gun violence. This instance here, this situation has, I'd say, along with a lot of other things that have happened just with the start of 2019, has really, I'd say, kind of shook the city. And what I mean by that is not necessarily on an emotional sense, but definitely has gotten everybody's attention, where everybody's talking about this. Again, everything that I'm saying, and I'm just, I guess I have to say this. I didn't know Mr. Brewer personally. I didn't know the perpetrator personally. I do know a lot of the people around him very closely. So everything that I'm reporting here is things that I read either from Gainesville Sun or the police report from the Alachua County Sheriff's Office. And so, and please correct me if I slip up on anything or if I'm wrong about something. So apparently there was a situation where Mr. Brewer was in Waffle House and he was giving out money to different patrons in there, paying for people's food, as well as giving out $20 bills, from what the story would. And like this is directly from the Alachua County Sheriff's press release. Apparently there was some unsatisfied, disgruntled people associated with him not giving them money from what the story may be, or whatever the case may be. And from this, an argument escalated to the point where there was a fight, and the guy goes back to the car, gets a gun, comes back, and murders Mr. Brewer, not Mr. Dave. This instance, I don't know what number of murder victims that this will be for this year. But I do know that there's been a few others.
I think it's about 5.
Yeah, but I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, I'm not sure for sure, but I can think of at least 4 or 5 off the top of my head since the beginning of this year. I'm a lifelong member of this community here. I mean, I grew up right in Newberry. And most of my life I've lived here in Gainesville. As well as you live here your whole life. We both are from here, grew up here. Grew up in most of the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Do you notice a difference in between the time when we were growing up and now? Can you start there?
Man, and like you say, I didn't know Mr. Craig person. Well, he was my sister's.
Right.
He has children with my sister.
I didn't know that.
So I do have that relation. I met him once before at a family gathering. So I did have a chance to meet him once before. And then I do also know Zeke.
Okay.
That's my boy. I kind of grew up with him. He's
cool.
my little brother. So he was actually working at the same place where I work. He was working at the warehouse with me.
Okay. Wow.
So he started about 2 months ago. So that was the last time I really had a real conversation with him. So I'm kind of close to the situation in 2 ways, in both ways on both sides. So
yes,
I definitely have no bias in it. But going to your question, man, growing up, it was never, man, I mean, you hear little incidents here and there. It was always just fighting back when we were growing up. You know, everybody fighting. They fist fights.
Right.
But as far as people shooting people, that was like, man, only time I ever seen that stuff was movies. You know, Gainesville was never a place where you just heard, especially people close to me, like, oh boy, so-and-so shot somebody. And I'm like, so when I heard the story, my first thing was, not my boy, not him. You know, he ain't. It just, to me, it was a big shocker because it's just not Gainesville. You know, I've never known Gainesville to be the way that it is. And like you say, off the top of my head, I can think at least of 4 cases this year where people have been killed, and I'm like, man, okay, this might be a little something. This might be something.
The one thing about it, this is the only thing about it to me. This is the one thing that stands out the most to me about the uprise in gun violence recently, locally. Usually, when you hear about a city that has a lot of gun violence, a lot of shooting, a lot of stuff going on, it's usually what we call jits.
Yeah.
15 to 20. You know, kids just getting it on, you know, no fault, no male figure, you know what I mean, that sort of thing. What's different about now is people that are adults. I mean, that are really going through this, and that's the crazy thing about it. I mean, the young man, I'm not sure. I know I'm friends with his. I'm familiar and friends with his brother Horace, but I don't know him. You know what I mean? But he's 25 years old. You know what I mean? So we're not talking about little kids. You know what I'm saying? So so the thing I'm saying is, the thing I'm thinking is like, how do we? Let's talk solutions. What do we do as far as solutions go?
I think solutions, because this is something that, I mean, I talk about this stuff all the time. People know me personally.
Yes, sir.
It's something that I talk about all the time. And I have conversations about how we can really stop stuff like this from happening. And I think a lot of it stems from things that we take in, because it's a spiritual thing. I look at everything from a spiritual sense. So for me, I look at there's a scripture that says we don't war against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wicked forces. And like, I believe that stuff. I don't believe I get into it with you, you shoot me, or I shoot you. It ain't really me and you physically. It's the spirit or the demons, whatever it is that has possessed you to do what you do to me physically.
I definitely agree with that.
I truly believe that. So I think there's a spirit that has come over this city. I mean, even the world naturally. I mean, spiritually, just we got a lot of stuff going on, And I do believe that we are in end time. That's just what I believe.
Right.
And now as you're seeing it, you see more people talking more about violence. Violence is like, it's glorified.
It made it casual.
It's casual, you know, and I think we've been so desensitized through music and through movies to the point of where I had someone tell me before I'm a big advocate. I love hip hop. People in the church, most people in the church, they hate hip hop. They're like, well, that's the devil, and I don't believe that. I just believe that what you say out of your mouth is so powerful to the point where I believe that we can't just be saying anything. Right. There is no entertainment in me saying, boy, if I catch you in the streets, I'm going to pop your head off. Right. Like, there's no entertainment in that. Because it sounds good on the record, but then when it actually happens to you, or it happens to your brother, or it happens to your cousin, then we're crying and everyone is mourning and somebody just lost a family member. And I'm like, it's no entertainment in it. Like, there's no entertainment value in listening to another person talking about how they're going to kill somebody, because it's real life we live out here.
Right, and people, the worst part about it is, well, let me ask you that, we were going to that a little bit. Do you feel like the artists bear that kind of responsibility? Because one thing that's for sure, we talk about a lot on this show, is that, kids are going to find that male figure, and all kids growing up through adolescence go through impressionable stage. Mm-hmm. So when you say, when I'm saying this on the record about murdering somebody, me and you might know that, might be able to understand and decipher that that's just them trying to entertain, but for that 14 or 15-year-old, 13 or 12-year-old, he might really believe. I thought Ice Cube was really a killer. Like, I really thought Ice Cube was a killer. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up with NWA and America's Nightmare, I thought he was a real killer. This was before Friday. This was before Are We There Yet? You know? So I'm saying, for real. So what I'm saying is, do you feel like the artist bears responsibility for that? Because I know they're conscious of this. So
I do believe that everyone, period. I believe that every man will stand before the Lord and be account. You're gonna have to account for every word that you speak out of your mouth. It's like we gotta really look at it, because like you gotta think about this. Every word we say out of our mouth has power. Right. It has power. Just the smallest little thing you say out of your mouth, man, that thing has so much power. And we put it into music, and music has a way, beats and stuff has a way of conjuring up feelings. You know, it can stir people up. Right. Sad. I don't want to too much speak on my past life. Some things that I've done that nobody don't know nothing about. But a lot of times there was things that I was doing. If I was finna go do something, I ain't listening to Pretty Ricky. Right. That ain't gonna get me in the mood. If I'm listening to Pretty Ricky, on the real stuff, the words that they were speaking on the record, that thing make me want to go see a woman. Right. And I'm finna lay down with somebody. So, all right. If I'm listening to Plies,
I agree.
If I'm listening to Plies put me in a certain mindset to where, boy, something might go down in there.
Make it okay,
All right, and if I'm listening to
soundtrack.
All right, if you listening to Common gonna put you in a certain mind state where you thinking up here. The words have power, so it's like we gotta, like, everything you speak out of your mouth, you might not even believe what you saying, but when you saying it over that record, now when another person hears it, they might not be in the mindset all they hearing is your words. And your words, and you saying, I'm finna load it up and go get him.
Wow.
And now the Jit hears it. Yeah. And he already got a situation going on in his life. Now the Jit say, well, I hear you, boy, I'm finna go. I'm gonna go handle that.
It happens all the time.
And it happens like that. So, and even movies or whatever the case may be, and it's like we gotta be so conscious of the things that we say, the things that we do, because you might be saying one thing, you might not be talking about all that stuff on the track. You might be talking about all the most godliest things, But if people see you doing certain things, now that can even affect people, you know, because people that's don't so most real. Of the time do what you say, they do what you do.
Right.
So, and everywhere we got to carry ourselves. And my challenge always to everyone that I do know who does music, my challenge is, man, I know you better than that. I have a friend right now who's trying to get into rap, and my thing is always telling him, I hear what you're saying on your songs, but I believe you better than that. I believe you got even more in you, bro. Like the pain and the struggle that you've been through, you have a story that you can tell that can inspire somebody who's going through the same exact thing that you're going through right now in their life, and you've made it out. So why speak on, you know, what you did rather than, okay, I did it, but this is how I got out of it. Right. You know, this is how I can help you. This is a warning that I can send to you. This is how I can encourage you and uplift you. And I believe that we need more of that in music. That's why we talked about off air, you know, J. Cole. I've listened to some of J. Cole's songs. I'm like, he talking some real talk. Right. You know, he's talking things that, you know, can help someone, you know, with things that they've been through in their life. Many different rappers, everybody ain't talking about shooting people.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, but all I'm saying is it can have an effect. And I believe that in our society right now, especially in our community, who are most people following? Yeah. What are most people listening to? Most people are listening to things that can be contrary to some things that we even believe, you know, and I think that's why a lot of times we find ourselves doing things that we do things in the moment a lot of times because we've heard it so many times. And like I say, we've been so desensitized where that thing is in us and we just act off of things. It's like you learned it from somewhere.
Right.
Because even people would say stuff like, with my boy, with what he did at the Waffle House. Many people I've talked with have said, you know, that ain't him. And I'm like, I believe you. Because I've never known him to be someone like that. But in that moment, this is something that, like, we got to be conscious of things that we put into our spirit. Because in those moments where I believe that all that could have been, both parties could have walked away at whatever. I don't know I've heard all type of stories.
Right.
I believe that there was nothing that serious to where you got to take somebody's life. Or someone, like, you should have been going home to where your family can still enjoy you, and the other man should still be able to go home. Even if you're just, y'all putting fisticuffs. I mean, but it's nothing where you going to take somebody's life, man. Yeah. And that's always something that's going to affect everyone, you know?
Yeah, two families lost their loved one. I do want to point out, this is just something random. I don't know if it was Mr. Brewer's sister or if it was his lady or who it was. But she posted on the internet to pray for Zeke's family. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just so like heartfelt, you know what I'm saying? Real. Because, you know, she took a loss, a major loss in her life. She still had the compassion to pray for the other family. That's and real. I thought that was just super. Like, that was really compassion. That really kind of touched me.
That's real.
So let's move on. Let's go kind of bring it back to that. Is there a way to stop this, man? Where do we start?
Man, I think it starts on a personal level, honestly. Because someone asked me that a couple of days ago. They say, well, where do we start? And my thing is, we start right here between me and you.
Okay.
You and I have to build a relationship to where I gain respect for you. Even if we don't agree, because there are ways to disagree.
Yeah, to be disagreeable.
To be disagreeable. Right. Just say, even if we never talk to each other ever again.
Right.
Man, I respect you enough to where I won't do anything to compromise you and your family.
Right.
And you have to gain the respect from where you have enough respect for me and say, you know, I won't do anything to compromise your family. Right. And we have to start right there. It's like, it's all internal because I honestly can't really do I can't change you. All I can do is change myself to where if I ever get in a position to where a situation like that arises, it all has to depend on me. I got to be the person to say, I'm gonna walk away. You know, I can't walk in pride and say, oh, well, so and so did something to me, or he said something to me, or man. At the end of the day, regardless if somebody say something to me, regardless of if someone threatens me or say whatever, I have to know in my mind, man, it ain't even that serious. Like, and I've never in my life had to ever get in a fight, ever. Right. And people be like, boy, you ain't never fought. I'm like, I ain't never had to. Right. Like, why I'm gonna put my hands on somebody? Nobody ain't never in their life, I've never experienced somebody punching me. Right. Why? Because I've always respected people to the point to where, man, bro, you ain't gonna put your hands on me and I ain't gonna put my hands on you. Straight up. One time, yeah. I was messing with a guy. My brother messed around and beat somebody up. Right. And that was even over a situation that I felt was not serious. So I think when we just, like, I don't put myself in the positions. Right. Like, it's 3 a.m. I mean, 3 a.m, I got a family at home. I'm going to be home with my family. I'm not even going to put myself in positions to where I can compromise my family. I'm going to be home in the bed with my wife or with my kids. That's the end. I mean, I think a lot of times we put ourselves in compromising positions. So it's like we got to start right there. Like, stop putting myself in compromising positions. You know, that's like me being married. I'm married right now. And somebody say, well, how you don't cheat on your wife? I don't put myself in positions to cheat on my wife. That's like me saying, boy, I love my wife, this and that, and I'm finna go to a strip club with my homeboy. What I look like putting myself in that position. Right. So you know what I do? Y'all boy going up. Boy, I ain't got no time for that. I'm not even putting myself in the position because I know myself. Right. So why put myself in that position to where somebody might try me? Put myself in the position where a woman might try to come on to me, or I might try to come on to a woman. Right. Why would I put myself in the position? Why would I put my children in a certain position? Like, there's things that we must begin to look at consciously and say, especially as fathers. As fathers, man, and that's the thing that hurt me the most is like, now there's 2 children that are without their father. Dang. Like, that thing hurt me, man. Like, it hurts me because I know now that's 2 children, and even though they are young, I think the son is like maybe almost 2, and the baby girl is a couple months. Dang. So they don't understand right now, but growing up, now they're gonna have to ask, you know, what that is. And mama has to explain that now it affects everyone. And now, you know, someone else is gonna have to step in. It's like, man, if I myself don't begin to make better decisions, be more aware of my surroundings, be more aware of the things that I say, the things that I listen to, the things that I do. It's like we gotta just all the way around just become more conscious. Right. And if you see me slipping, you should hold me accountable, bro. And I think that's another thing we don't have in our community a lot of times, because I'm more than sure, they say it was a lot of people at the place. So ain't nobody say nothing, and nobody be like, man, bro, it ain't worth it. There was no one to say, bro, you shouldn't be out here in the first place. We ain't got no accountability. We have no accountability. Like, why would my homeboys let me be out like that when they know I got, you know, somebody at the house? When you know say something to me. And for me, that's why I say it starts right here. Because if I know you have kids and I see you putting yourself in a position where you can compromise your family, I'm going to say something to you, bro. Right. I believe that's my duty. Like, if I call you my brother, I consider you as a friend and as a brother. Right. I can't say that if I see you in a compromising position and I don't say anything, I don't love you, bro. Like, I don't care nothing about you if I can watch you do certain things. Yeah, so I have friends. I have a friend right now who just came home from prison, and he been trying. A lot of times I feel like he's been about to put himself in certain positions, and I say something to him, bro. Don't go do that. Don't say that. Don't go there, because now, and I try to make him think. Even though I tell him, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, think about it, bro. That ain't saying I don't believe you should go there, bro. I don't believe that you should go and deal with this person. Because I'm trying to look out for my brother, because I see certain things. Like, I got to have eyes even for him. And I expect him to have eyes for me. Right. You know, we got to watch out for the people that we love. You know, and I do the same thing with my children. Why would I allow my child to walk into a house burning down? What I look like? So now I'm going to redirect my child. Boy, don't go over there. Right. Come this way.
That's real.
You know, and my child might get upset with me and they might rebel against me. But I have to do what's in the best interest that I know for them. So we have to begin to hold each other accountable. And I think that's, like I say, the accountability, that's the biggest thing right here with me and you, you know, or with you and your brother, or you and your sister.
Right.
Start on a personal level, like one-on-one. We got to start having these conversations, because if not, man, we'll be sad today for a couple weeks. And then after a month, we go back to life as usual until the next death.
So something else happens, right?
You know, and that's the only time I think we come together in our community is when we see death. You know, then everybody's sad, but it's like, man, when will we get to the point, even with the whole Nipsey Hussle thing? Man, this man's family is going, like, the things that they're going through right now, I'm just like, I wish that on nobody. That's kids who are without a father now. Like, that stuff, it gets me every time, bro. And I'm just like, man, you know, that those are kids, more kids who have to grow up without a father, you know. Yeah. But now we got to look at to the point of where, okay, are we just going to be sad for these couple weeks? Or are we going to actually do something and begin to hold each other accountable? Make a real change. Because if not, man, we'll see another death in 2 months, 3 months.
Let's talk about that then. Let's go into that then. Do you think that the dominant society, America as a whole, and black people themselves, do you think that there's what kind of value you think that is placed on black lives? I mean, not just from the black community, but from the larger community too. I mean, do you think that we value our own lives, or how you feel about that?
Sometimes that's a question that I have for us.
Right.
You know, do we really?
Right.
You know, because like, I think we really value our lives when someone else outside of our community takes one of our lives. Man, we really, really, really care at that time. You know, we see us band together like never before when it's someone outside of our community, you know, police or whatever. But for some reason, when it happens to our own at times, it seems like, you know, it is what it is. You know, that just happened. And it's like, yeah, it does. Yeah. It happens, but it shouldn't be happening. That's the thing. It's like, that should never be normal.
Should be self-inflicted.
Like, for real, man. So, at times, I don't know, son. I always ask people the question. I mean, do we really value black lives? Like, do we really believe that black lives matter? Like, do we believe that, you know, do we believe it enough to where do we believe it enough to the point of where we'll begin to change our lyrics and our songs?
Okay.
Like, do we really believe it that much to where if I'm an artist, man, I'll never come out of my mouth and say, boy, I'm going to do this to my brother. Man, that's my brother. Like, if you know anything about brothers, man, my brother can make me madder than all outdoors. At the end of the day, man, I would never do anything to hurt my brother because I love him that much. Because we grew up, and when I look at my brother, man, well, I don't know what I would do without my brothers. Okay. Like, I love them that much. Even though we don't see eye to eye a lot of times. You know, my older brother, Ron. Boy, me and Ron went at it when we was younger. Boy, I used to hate Ron.
Okay. But that's who you fight the hardest with.
Yeah, boy, man. Like, we will fight. Like, and I used to always just feel like, dang, boy, I hate that. I hate him.
Yeah.
But I ain't never mean that, because if anything would happen to that man, boy, I don't know what I'll do. I'll go crazy, bro, because I grew up with him. I know his struggle. You know, I've seen his struggle. And you don't have to be my physical brother, because I would look at you like a brother. I know your struggle. Okay. As a black man, bro, like, we all got it hard. That's we all have things that we have to go through in this life. We all got things that we're up against, a system that we got to fight. We all got, the odds are against us.
Okay.
So you don't have to be my physical brother for me to understand your pain, because I might not know you personally, but I know you got some struggles. Mm-hmm. I know you got some things that are up against you.
That's real.
And that's where my compassion comes from, because I know, because I'm going through it just like you going through it. We all got something that we going through. For those of us who do have children, we know how hard it is to raise children and to always be there for your family. For those of us who are married, if you married, you know how hard marriage is. And how hard it is to continue to stay and to continue to keep the peace in your home. For those of us who work, we know how hard it is. We know, bro, all of us got things that we're going through, bro. And we should look at each other with compassion and say, man, even if my brother talking to me crazy, man, I just know it's deeper than what he talking about. My brother might have something going on. Maybe bro has something going on that day. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he just hurt us for so long. And that was one of my ideas for this show. Dad, can we talk? A lot of dads are going through so many things, and I think that we hold it in so much, and we'll begin to, if we don't begin to talk about it, we'll begin to let that anger come out in ways where we'll hurt somebody that we love. We'll hurt someone that we just don't even know. Like we'll do things because we just don't know what else to do. And somebody might push us over that edge, not knowing that we're already on the edge.
Wow.
They don't know, so people just be running their mouth sometimes.
Real, though. You saying some real stuff, boy.
That's just something that I think we got to really begin to look at, because, man, we go through a lot of stuff, man, as black men. Right. So many. I mean, men in general, I believe we got a lot of stuff that we go through, but I know black men, we got some real issues, bro. So, we must, I think that should even take our value even higher when it comes to each other. Like, man, I know my brother going through it. Well, I want to make sure I'm there to help my brother.
Be able to relate.
Like, I don't never want to see you hurting, bro. Like, I want to see you win just as much as I want to win.
That's real.
I want to see you prosper just as much as I'm prospering. And if we ain't got people around us that feel that way about us, man, cut cats to the curb, bro. Like, on some real stuff, I ain't got too many people around me that I don't.
They don't want to see you win.
Like, I just don't deal with that too much. I help as many people as I can. Because I know I want to see people prosper, bro. I want to see people prospering. Like, I want to see our community doing much better than what we're doing, because it hurts me every time. I was talking with one of my boys, and I'm telling him, well, that thing hurt me to know that one of my boys probably finna do 25 to life in prison. Dang. At 25 years old. That's another cat that I know finna be in this system. The system, I hate that system. Like, you check my JPay out, got all kind of cats in there that I write on the regular. Cats that I love, bro. Cats that I grew up with. Cats that got kids, bro. And they end up, and the things that they write me in those letters, bro, I'm like, and I can't help but, I feel sorry at times. Like, dang, boy, all I can do is pray for you, man. Yeah. And try and support that brother as much as I can. So that's another brother being sent to that system. And now, there's another brother being sent to the grave. That thing hurt me, bro. Like, it hurts me. It hurts me so bad, man, because I value black lives. I value all of them, but especially a black life, because I'm a black man myself with a black wife and black children, and I see and know the struggle. Yeah. On everything, man. So, I think, man, we gotta really begin to value each other more. Like, I believe that our value should be much more than what it is to us. Because if we really truly did value black lives, I think there's a lot of things that we wouldn't say, a lot of things that we wouldn't call our women. That's a whole other thing, the way that we talk to our women, the way that we treat them. the way that we allow other people to treat them.
Right. That's a big one too. We gotta protect them.
We gotta protect them, and I believe that they act the way that they act sometimes because they don't feel like we even protect them. They don't believe. I believe a lot of black women don't think that black men value them, and they should be one of the most valuable things. Like historically, they've always been the least valued in this whole in everything. Like out of anybody, black women have always been at the bottom, lower than the black men. So we must begin to see each other in a different light and treat each other, not just talk about it. Because it's easy to talk about it and say this and say that. Man, we must do it, man. And if we don't know how to, get around, like, learn. Learn how to treat your brother. Learn how to treat your sister. Learn how to treat your wife. Learn how to treat, your husband. Learn how to treat your son or your daughter or your friend. It's about respecting the next person the way that you want to be respected. So, I mean, and these are conversations that I have. Like I say, if anybody knows me personally, these ain't conversations that just come up with me when tragedy hits. Right. I talk about this stuff all the time. If you know me, man, that's the
kind of work you do.
That's the business I'm in.
Let's move on to a word you like to use a lot, which is accountability, man. So, whose responsibility is it to fix a lot of the issues that we have locally? Like, take it from there.
I think it has a lot to do with our leaders.
Okay.
I think people like you and I look at us like, look, if you hold a position of where you can speak to the masses,
I understand.
I believe it's our responsibility, those who are our political leaders, teachers in the schools, anyone, parents, mainly parents.
Okay.
Because we have the next generation coming through us. I mean, everybody got a mama and a daddy. I don't care who you is. Everybody came from one man and one woman.
You said that.
I don't care where you.
What you did after that?
Whatever else. You came out of a man put the thing inside the woman,
right?
And she conceived. That's it. So, I think as parents, we have that responsibility to raise the next generation to be respectful, to know their value and know the value of others. We must teach them. I mean, we can't hand them over to the teachers at the schools. The teachers play a role. The pastors play a role.
Okay.
Spiritually, and that's another thing also. I don't think the church even talk about stuff like this. Like,
not most of them.
Most of them, we don't deal with these issues. We scared to talk about race. Oh, we ain't talking about race issues. We talking about, man, this thing's right here in our community, and we got a lot of black churches, and we don't talk about what's real. We are scared to tackle topics like this and to say what's real. And we don't hold anyone accountable. Like, church is just, a clown show a lot of times. You're going to go in there, get a couple laughs, and go home. The pastor going to joke the whole time. When are we going to start talking some real stuff? Like, we need to talk real issues.
That's real.
Like, because there's no conviction a lot of times. No one feels like, well, I'm going to go to church and feel better about myself. No, a lot of times, you know what I like to go? I've been going to church since 2011. One thing that I've always loved about my pastor, he spoke was real. A lot of times, I don't leave church feeling good. I leave church feeling convicted. Feeling like I could be a better person.
Okay.
Feeling like I can treat people better. Like, I don't always treat my wife the way that she could be treated. And then if I'm doing things that I know I should.
That's real.
People ain't when Barack Obama was president. You think kids was talking about, I'm following Barack Obama? Man, the boy Barack Obama just a figurehead. Nobody ain't listening to what Barack Obama saying. Everybody want to know what Jay-Z talking about. Everybody want to know what Future was talking about. People wanted to know what NBA was talking about. People wanted to know what Ross was talking about. That's what people following. So if you have that platform, man, you got the opportunity to speak life. Speak life into a whole generation. I remember I heard J. Cole say that one time. He said, I feel like that's my responsibility. Yeah. That man, he went as far as to say this. He said, I feel like it's sin. I feel like I'm sinning if I don't speak life into the generation. Wow. And he said that out of his mouth.
That's crazy.
That's
so real, though. You see what the how deep it is, how serious it is.
It's real. I mean, Ross had the album called Deeper Than Rap, man.
Okay.
Yeah. He might not think of it like that, but I remember around that time when the album was coming out. And I was like, yeah, you right. Yeah, you might not know just how right you are, but you absolutely right. It's deeper than rap. Man, it's deeper than you getting on the track. Man, boy, you speaking life. Everything you say out of your mouth has the power to affect someone's life. Everything. But we don't see it like that because a lot of times it's not manifested right away. I believe that if we can see instant results, somebody might come and water that seed.
Yeah.
In a year, it might get water. And then you might see it might blossom.
Yeah.
And it might not be something good that you want to see manifesting.
That's crazy.
So we gotta just be really careful, man. I mean, and that go for everybody. I don't care who, man. I believe our audience, a lot of people that's listening are parents.
Well, hey,
or some type of leader. We got something that we got something.
Wait, man. We gotta get up out of here. We run out of time, man. I got a few commercials I gotta play. I really want to state that rest in peace to Mr. Craig Brewer.
It's real.
Rest in peace to everyone that we lost, recently. Everybody that's going through mourning a loved one. That's never easy. Also want to send prayers out to Zeke's family as well, Mr. Hicks. Because a lot of times when these kind of things occur, especially when you got people who got somebody in the prison system, they definitely can relate to this. A lot of times it's the family that has to do that time with you. It's the family that gotta, go through it with you.
A lot of times, only the mother gonna be the person there standing by your side.
A lot of times, that's exactly what it is. Also, we usually do announcements at the end. I definitely want to send a shout out to Ty Loud. She's doing a peace rally today at 2460 Southeast Hawthorne Road, right next to Dollar General. It's called Put the Guns Down Peace Rally. That's today at 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So y'all can definitely go out there and try to mix it up with the community, man, and try to collectively combat gun violence, man, because that has never really been a staple of the Gainesville community.
It's real.
Anything you want to say before we close the big dog?
That's it. That was gonna be the one thing that I was gonna announce today. The rally.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But hey, man, y'all keep it locked right here. WBT 9.1 from the beat. We're gonna hang out, man. 4 o'clock hour coming up. We got all the local artists, man. So y'all make sure y'all tune in, man, for that. Don't go away, y'all. Keep it locked, man. Mr. Rashad Ray, appreciate you, man. With that, can we talk?
Yes,
Don't
sir.
go away, y'all. Keep it locked. Gotta do it, good dog.
Yo, boy.
Bang,
Bang. Get ready to hit this concert.
Turn this off. I'll show you.